What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. All right, so we are checking out 19 surprising reasons Americans are happier living in Europe. I was on my phone this morning and there was a short video that said, "Is America the best country in the world?" And these two ladies were like, "No." And the guy was like, where would you go if all expenses paid? Where would you go outside of America? And both ladies were like, "I don't think that I would want to leave." Okay, sign me up. I would definitely go to Europe in a heartbeat. Not only because what is going on in the world, but because I just want to live a happier life. And times are getting scary, that's for sure. And so that's what we're going to be checking out today. 19 surprising reasons Americans are happier living in Europe. Let's check it out, guys. Thanks for watching. This is actually a suggested video. If you guys have any suggestions, put it down in the link below on the Discord. I am very, very, very far behind, so bear with me. I am getting there. I may have to, I don't know. We'll figure it out, but let's check it out.
Europe, you're about to find out. My name's Josh, and my wife and I have lived abroad for over 15 years. Half that time has been in Europe, and we're breaking down the 19 benefits Americans enjoy when they move abroad. From better health, to more free time, to cultural experiences that hit differently, and even perks for your wallet you won't believe. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why thousands of Americans are making the move, and maybe even consider joining us. We've broken this video down into 4 broad categories to show the wide range of benefits Americans enjoy when moving to Europe. First up, the benefits that impact your mind and body, your health, your energy, and your overall well-being. Think of it as the foundation of your new European life, because if you're feeling better physically and mentally, everything else just falls into place. Picture this. You slip on the stairs, break a wrist, and head to the hospital. In the US, you brace for a bill that might as well buy you a secondhand car. In many corners of Europe, you'll pay a modest copay or maybe nothing at all. That's what public health care feels like.
Plus, you will spend like 3 or 4 hours in the emergency room, whether it's a cough, a cold, or a broken bone. So take that in consideration as well.
A safety net woven with thousands of caring hands. When it comes to access, quality, and affordability, European public health systems regularly outshine the United States. Many Americans say the top reason they moved overseas was simple. They never wanted a medical emergency to wreck their finances.
And that's exactly why I'm in the position I am in today, is because hospital bills and things like that, which really puts a crutch on you, considering it's just hard to get on your feet here anyhow. So, yeah.
If you ask, is this covered? And the answer isn't, how much? That's liberation. Think about this. Back in most US towns, you're locked in your car like it's the only way to survive. You want milk? Drive. Need fresh air? Drive. Just to get to a friend's house? Drive.
Yep.
Now picture living in a European city where your daily commute is on foot or public transportation. That daily stroll from the tram to your flat, it's not just a chore. It becomes your built-in fitness routine. Studies show that swapping 4 wheels for your 2 feet can cut the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even improve your mental health.
I'm all about that. Except like right now, I would be miserable. I am miserable right now because it's just so cold. It is so cold and so much snow, and it's just miserable. And I mean, there's nowhere that I would be able to walk short distance like that. If I wanted to go absolutely anywhere besides my neighbor's house, I would have to drive. That sucks. That really, really sucks, and it's expensive.
In Europe, you trade traffic jams and parking tickets for sidewalks, bike lanes, and a city that moves at your pace. And the best part, your wallet gets a break. No car payments, no endless gas trips, no insurance nightmares. That's not just a lifestyle upgrade, it's a health and sanity upgrade.
Yeah.
So where are all those extra steps taking you? Oftentimes, to a local fruit or vegetable market where the tomatoes smell like, well, tomatoes, and not like something from a cardboard box. In Europe, fresh, local produce isn't a boutique luxury, it's normalized. For us here in Portugal, our weekly Quinta Terra Viva box is a highlight. Back in the US, sure, some towns have co-ops or farmers markets, but let's be honest, it's more like finding a unicorn with a green thumb. With better access,
That is so true. Yeah, but when you find one, it's pretty cool. I've been to a couple, but again, it's very far, few in between. Um, yeah, I don't know why. Charlie and I always wanted to do. We want to start a garden, which we started a channel on that. The last garden we had was not a success. You guys will have to go check that out. But this year we're going to do a really big garden, and hopefully, if he wants to build like a little area where fruit stand, and so that'll be really cool. I think, especially in our little town, I think that could go over really well. Maybe not. I don't know.
to fresh foods, fast food suddenly becomes the exception and not the rule. That means less processed junk and more real meals. And the knock-on effect, healthier bodies, sharper minds, and maybe even the energy to walk another mile to the next market. Here's
Yeah.
something Americans notice immediately. Life in Europe moves at a different speed. Back in the United States, it feels like everyone's sprinting throughout the day. Coffee in one hand and stress in the other.
Yeah.
In Europe, you might actually have time to notice the birds, the architecture, or, breathe. And that slower pace isn't just nice for Instagram shots. It translates into lower stress, especially when paired with a serious work-life balance. Europeans get significantly more vacation days than their American counterparts. While many Americans are still debating whether to take long weekends, Europeans are booking 2-week trips, guilt-free. Less stress, more time, and actual vacations. It's not just a lifestyle, it's a sanity upgrade.
That is definitely a sanity upgrade for sure. And if I had that, I would not also be where I am today, where you just get completely burnt out. I did at one time, like, went through a really, really hard time, really bad depression, and I was completely burnt out because I worked 7 years straight, and before that, years straight, at places that didn't give vacation or anything. So yeah, you definitely get burnt out for sure, right? I mean, that's crazy.
All right, this one might spark a debate, especially if you're from Vermont, Hawaii, Colorado, Montana, or Oregon. You're probably shaking your fist at the screen already. Okay, but hear me out.
What?
Europeans get more outdoor time. Part of it comes from more vacation days, enough to hit the beach, hike the mountains, or just enjoy a little R&R. Add in the daily walks from your apartment to the market, the tram, or even a cafe, and suddenly you're spending a lot more time outside than you might back in the States. Sunlight, fresh air, vitamin D, movement, it all adds up to better physical and mental health. Think of it as Europe's built-in wellness program. No gym membership required. Did we
For
cover
real.
every single health and wellness benefit? Probably not, but we've
Seems
painted a
like
big
it.
picture. Now it's time to move on to the next category, financial and practical advantages, which are especially relevant for retirees and semi-retirees looking to make their money go further. Okay, let's talk about your dollar, because who doesn't like the feeling of it stretching a little further? Europe in general offers a lower cost of living than the US, and in many places, your money goes way further than it would back home. Take
Yeah.
Paris versus New York City. An inexpensive meal in Paris is about 40% cheaper, and a dinner
Wow.
for two at a mid-scale restaurant, almost half the price of the Big Apple. Suddenly, that croissant feels even sweeter. Or compare
Right.
Madison, Wisconsin, a great mid-sized US city, with Florence, Italy. Florence is 13% cheaper overall, and let's be honest, infinitely more interesting culturally. Sorry, Madison, but don't worry, your Midwestern roots are safe. Just maybe not your bank account. Now, Porto, Portugal, where I live, Madison is over 40% more expensive, and including rent, the difference grows to 44.4%. Yes, Portugal has been making the headlines for rising rents, but even factoring that in, your money still stretches further.
Yeah.
Of course, if you plan to work in Europe, wages might be a little lower, unless you land one of those glorious remote jobs earning an American salary overseas. Not exactly hitting the lottery, but close enough to make your wallet smile. We just gave retirees, semi-retirees, and those mythical remote workers a shout out. Now let's talk to the families. Europe offers free or heavily reduced university tuition for legal residents. Not every country and situation is the same.
See, and that's smart. It benefits all the way around. That's another thing with kids going to colleges. It's like our college is a scam. It's like you are going to school, putting yourself into thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of debt. Like, what in the world? Is that really worth it? I don't know.
Of course, but if you qualify, you can save a family from a lifetime of student loan repayments. In the US, college can feel like a mortgage disguised as an education. In Europe, your kid can get a degree without chaining their financial future to Sally Mae.
Yeah.
Whether they graduate in 4 years or take the more scenic 6-year route. Let's talk transit, because in Europe, getting from A to B doesn't have to cost as much as your vacation budget. According to AAA, the average US driver pays around $11,577 per year to own and run a car.
That's
gas, insurance, depreciation, and maintenance. Well, the whole guilty pleasure package. Meanwhile,
so for me to get to work and back a week is, if I'm not going anywhere else, if I just go back to work, and $30 on top of insurance, which is like, I don't know how much it is, and then the cost and upkeep of the vehicle, our monthly flat tires, gotta add that in. Yeah, it's expensive. Very, very expensive.
In many European cities, you can ditch the wheels and hop on public transportation for a fraction of that cost. Take my city, Porto, for example. An all-zone monthly pass costs 40 euros. Do the math. 11,500 plus per year for a US car versus roughly 480 euros per year for unlimited metro bus or tram rides in Porto. That's not just a savings. That's financial breathing room. Add in discounts for students, seniors, or families, and suddenly public transportation isn't just a fallback. It's the smarter, cheaper, and more convenient way to get around. So if you've ever wondered what ditching your car really gives you, more than just a few parking headaches, this might be one of the biggest lifestyle upgrades Europe offers.
Yeah.
And for those of you who care about the planet, here's another win for living in Europe. Swap your car keys for walking shoes and or a transit pass, and you're slashing your personal carbon footprint. Studies in a variety of European cities show that simply replacing one car trip per day with walking, biking, or public transport trims roughly 0.5 tons of CO2 a year. That's not tree hugger fluff, that's math. When millions of people make that swap, these savings add up fast. In cities built for walking, biking, or transit instead of freeways and parking lots, you take fewer emissions bloating car trips and more steps, fresh air, and cleaner lungs. If you want to live in a place that supports it, compact, transit friendly, walkable, you don't just change your address, you shrink your footprint. While that last benefit was a bit altruistic, this next category definitely supports you, your growth, your curiosity, your worldview. And let's be honest, that's probably a huge reason you clicked on this video in the first place. Moving abroad doesn't just change where you live, it changes who you become. By the way, if content like this is your jam, hit the subscribe button and keep exploring with us. We're so close to 100,000 subscribers.
100,000 subscribe. Oh my gosh. So close. So don't forget to subscribe, guys. And subscribe on my channel too. That'd be awesome.
And every click, like, and watch helps us get there and helps you make the most of your own expat adventures. Let's start with the big one for intellectual and cultural growth. Learning a new language. Research shows that bilingualism can delay the onset of dementia symptoms by an average of 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
That's pretty incredible. So not only does speaking another language open up a new culture, new friendships, and new opportunities, it can literally help your brain stay healthier for longer. And Europe, it's a language learning playground. While there are over 250 indigenous languages across the continent, you'll be surrounded by globally influential ones like Italian, French, German, Dutch, Spanish, and Portuguese. There are also more than 100 million native speakers of Russian in Europe alone. There are countless other languages you've probably heard of or could learn, but you get the point. Living in Europe makes language learning a natural part of daily life instead of a chore on Duolingo. This is one of my personal favorites, and one of the main reasons Kaylee...
It's quite funny because I have Duolingo and it really sucks because I was told to get Rosetta Stone, and so I was going to, and then I ended up getting on it and messing it up to where it was teaching me English and I couldn't switch it out. So I ended up getting back on Duolingo, and then somehow charged me for a whole year worth, which I only signed up for a month. I will swear on that, but yeah, got me for a whole freaking year, $100 some. I'm like, oh my gosh. Charlie was not happy.
And I decided to move to Europe. Living here gives you lightning fast access to dozens of countries without the massive flights or jet lag nightmares that would come with traveling from the US. Paris for the weekend, Berlin for a museum, Lisbon for a pastel de nata. Sure, passport stamps aren't as exciting as they used to be, but you're still checking countries off your list. And trust me, with a 6-year-old in tow, we're doubling back so she can catch up with our globe-trotting adventures. She's been to over 30 countries already, and she's not even in first grade yet. Traveling isn't just fun. It's an investment in family memories, cultural experiences, and a broader perspective. Living in Europe just makes it a whole lot easier. Why is this so fantastic? Simply put, living in Europe immerses you in culture like nowhere else. Sure, the US has its museums and festivals, but experiencing history, art, and local traditions in their place of origin, well, that just hits different. Imagine watching a medieval parade roll through the streets of Toledo, attending Carnival in Venice, or stumbling upon a centuries-old art piece in a tucked-away gallery in Paris. That's not a weekend getaway.
So cool.
It's living inside history and culture every day. Wherever you choose to settle, Europe lets you go beyond sightseeing. You participate in festivals, walk through history, and feel the stories that built the cities. It's like trading a textbook for a full cinematic experience. And trust me, the soundtrack is way better. One of the most transformative parts of living abroad, being exposed to entirely different work and social cultures. It challenges your assumptions about the way things are done and gives you the space to decide what truly works best for you. Think of it as stepping into a new operating system for life. The rules are slightly different, the workflow is unfamiliar, and suddenly, your problem-solving skills get a serious upgrade. And even if you eventually decide Europe isn't for you, you won't return the same person. You'll come back to the US with fresh ideas, new perspectives, and maybe even creative ways to improve your work, your community, or your everyday life.
I mean, 2 weeks is not long enough probably, but it's definitely going to be long enough to dip our feet in it and experience, some stuff. I'm so excited, guys. I'm going to be going to if you're new to the channel, I'm going to the Netherlands in April, and I'm so excited. Yeah, so me and my family, well, part of my family, Charlie, will be going, and then our oldest son, Trevor. So that is amazing. Super
Living abroad
blessed.
Doesn't just change your address. It changes the way you think. The fourth category of benefits is all about social and lifestyle perks. Though to be fair, many of the benefits we've already covered naturally ripple into your social life too. One of the most striking things that we've noticed and heard from countless Americans living abroad is that you often form deeper, more meaningful connections with the people you meet. Over the past 15 years of living abroad, Kaylee and I have stayed close with friends that we met our very first year, sometimes better than our friends from our childhood back home. Why? Partly it's the shared experience of navigating a new country together. But it's
Yeah.
also the fact that relationships abroad take effort. And when you're both putting in the work, there's a level of understanding and grace that's really hard to replicate elsewhere. It's like planting a garden in rocky soil. It takes care, patience, and persistence, but the growth is richer and the fruits are sweeter. Another lifestyle perk, especially for food lovers, is being close to the source of world-class cuisine. Europe makes it easy to turn a weekend into a culinary adventure. Take
Yeah.
Spain, for example. You could hop on a quick flight to Logroño, the heart of La Rioja, and spend the weekend hopping from tapas bar to tapas bar. Not only is it a feast for your taste buds, but it's also a cultural experience. And let's be honest, posting that IG carousel to your friends is bound to cause some serious FOMO. It's like having a gourmet buffet at your doorstep without the need to wait for a Michelin-starred delivery service. Or worse, trying to recreate it in your US home. Let's circle back to the idea of cars, or more specifically, escaping a car-centric lifestyle and the independence that comes with it. Personally, I've always felt car ownership was more a burden than a freedom. Some will argue that having a car is the ultimate symbol of independence. After all, there are plenty of car commercials that would swear by that mantra. And hey, if that's your vibe, no argument here.
I mean, it gives you that when you're here. That's for sure. If you don't have that, you have no freedom at all, and you have to rely on other people. So yeah, that does apply here for sure.
Here. Different strokes for different folks. But if you live in a European city with great public transportation, walkable neighborhoods, or bike-friendly streets, you quickly realize that true independence might just be freeing yourself from the car in the first place. Okay. Enough subtle car puns. Let's drive forward. You might debate whether this is a social benefit or a lifestyle one, but the reality is that overall, Europe tends to be safer than the United States when it comes to violent crime. And whether it's perception or reality, this safety translates into reduced stress. You don't have to worry as much about the safety of your partner, your kids, or yourself. Just
That's what I
another
hear.
way living in Europe can make daily life feel lighter, calmer, and more enjoyable. Speaking of kids, if you happen to have little ones while living abroad and are working in Europe, paid parental leave is often far more generous than in the US. And if kids aren't in your plan,
And man, that is so important. People don't realize we've done this our whole lives. Just went right back to work after having children, and it's like you need that bonding time with your child. Especially people, Americans in general, they need to have like a closer family bond because there's a lot of lack in that area. Yeah, that's so important. I don't get why we don't have that. And then we do have maternity leave, but most of the time it's not paid. So you are forced to go back to work, so just ultimately it sucks.
no worries. There are plenty of other social benefits in
And I've really realized that after having my son Trevor 17 years ago, had him, and 2 months after I had him, I went back to work. Our relationship is great. I'm not talking about that. It's just then when I had Anthony, and it was in 2020 during the coronavirus, I was able to stay home, and I realized how much I missed with my first one. It's like, holy cow, that's crazy. If I could go back and redo it, I would have stayed home in a heartbeat.
European countries that you won't find back home. Of course, nothing here is entirely free. Some benefits come with trade-offs, but that's true everywhere, right? If you want the flip side of this story, the 19 shocking sacrifices Americans make living in Europe, you'll want to watch this video next. So, what are you waiting for? Click, watch, subscribe, and let's get moving. Bye.
See ya. That was a good video. That was very informative. And yeah, that is absolutely valid, good reasons why Europe is just that much better. I mean, for the people. So yeah, I do wonder how much happier I would be in Europe, and one day I will find out. That's a promise. So yeah, that was a good video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, share. that is all I ask. That is more than enough. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.